IELTS preparation and practice. General training reading. About the general training reading module. In the general training reading module of the IELTS exam, you will be given 60 minutes to read a range of written texts in English and answer about 40 related questions. The reading texts are taken from general everyday sources such as magazines, newspapers, workplace and training information, signs, advertisements, and many more. The questions are designed to assess your ability to obtain and interpret meaning from the texts. The main features of the general training reading tests are sections, 3 sections. Total reading texts, 5 to 6 various. Total time, 60 minutes. Total questions, 40 questions. Marks, 1 mark per question. Each of the 3 parts of the test contains texts and questions of different types, so it is important that you become familiar with all 3 parts of the test. General Training Reading Test Overview. Section 1. Questions 1 to 14. 2, 3 or more short texts, each less than 500 words, taken from everyday general sources. These include advertisements, notices, leaflets, timetables, brochures, and menus. Section 2. Questions 15 to 27. 2 medium-length texts, about 500 words, usually taken from training, workplace, or occasional sources. Section 3. Questions 28 to 40. 1 longer text, 500 to 700 words from a general interest article, usually a topic of general interest, describing something or narrating a story or event. Total number of texts, usually 5 to 6. Total test questions, 40. Total test time, 60 minutes. Question types. There are 40 questions in the general training reading test, covering a range of question types, including multiple choice, true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given, matching headings and texts, classification of information, short written answers, notes, summary, table, or diagram completion. Questions may be written into the test before or after each text. An example of how to answer each question type is always given in the test instructions. The texts and the questions become more complex throughout the test, so you need to become familiar with all 3 parts of the test. Note, the same question type can be used to test different reading skills. Test answer sheet. You will be given a general training question paper, which contains the texts and questions, and a separate answer sheet. You may work or write on the question paper, but before the end of the 60 minutes, you're required to transfer all your answers to the answer sheet. You will not be given extra time to transfer your answers to the answer sheet, so you should allow time to do so within the 60 minutes given for the test. Your answers, precisely as they appear on the answer sheet, will determine your score. Divide the total time for the test, 60 minutes, into smaller sections to ensure that you have time to complete all 3 parts. Listen to my tips. Remember to answer all questions, even if you're unsure or unfinished. Never leave answers blank. Remember that any reading practice in English is practice for IELTS. Buy a magazine you like, read a book from the library or bookshop, buy a newspaper each day. You will improve your reading every time you read. The 3 parts of the general training reading test contain text and questions of different types. In the following 3 units of this booklet, we will look at each part of the test separately and provide practice.